You've made it to Module 4. That means you've done the work. You've read through the documented history of the Stargate program. You've learned the 6 stages of the CRV protocol. You've sat down with a set of coordinates and tried this. Noticed what arrived. Noticed what your analytical mind invented. And tried to tell the difference. That is not a small thing. Now we get to the part of the course that, honestly, I find the most alive. Because in the first 3 modules, we looked at what remote viewing is and how the protocol works and what a session feels like from the inside. In Module 4, we turn to the question that all that evidence eventually forces you to ask. Why? How does this work? What happens when a viewer in a room with no windows, no radio, no sensory access to anything beyond 4 walls, accurately describes a physical location on the other side of the planet? That is what this module is about. I want to be straight with you at the start of this one. We do not have a complete theory of remote viewing. Not even close. Some of the sharpest people in physics and consciousness research have turned their attention to this question over the past 50 years, and the honest summary of where we are is this. Something appears to be happening that our current models of mind and physical reality cannot fully account for. That is not a failure. That is an invitation. What we do have is 4 serious theoretical frameworks, 4 genuinely rigorous attempts to grapple with the evidence. None of them is sufficient on its own. All of them illuminate something real. And together they open a conversation between quantum physics, consciousness research, the structure of time itself, and the ancient Hermetic understanding that mind and matter are not, at the deepest level, separate. That conversation is one of the most alive and consequential things happening at the frontier of human knowledge right now. You are joining it at a genuinely interesting moment. Let me give you a quick map of where we're going before you read through the full module. The first framework is quantum non-locality. Most of you have heard of quantum entanglement. The fact that 2 particles can become correlated in ways that seem to defy the limitations of space. What Bell's theorem established, and what experiments have now confirmed without any remaining serious dispute, is that these correlations are real. They are not a quirk of our incomplete knowledge. The universe, at the quantum level, is not locally causal. What that means for remote viewing is specific. The flat denial of all non-local perception has lost its most secure footing. A universe that permits non-local correlations at the particle level is a universe in which the question is no longer whether non-locality is possible, but how far it extends. We'll also look at David Bohm's implicate order here, which offers a way of thinking about all of this that I find genuinely beautiful, and that converges in some striking ways with the Hermetic tradition. The second framework comes from Ingo Swann himself, the signal line model. This is less a physics theory than a precise description of what the remote viewing phenomenon does. What Swann documented across hundreds of sessions is that genuine signal arrives in a consistent order, can be interrupted by analytical overlay, degrades under specific conditions, and does not attenuate with distance. Those 4 observations are not philosophy, they are constraints. Whatever remote viewing turns out to be, any complete theory is going to have to account for all 4 of them. The third framework is the one that tends to stop people in their tracks. Retrocausation. The idea that information can, under certain conditions, move backward in time. The reason this is worth taking seriously is not metaphysical enthusiasm. It is physics. The fundamental equations that govern physical reality are time-symmetric. They work equally well in both directions. Time's felt directionality is a macroscopic, statistical phenomenon. It is not built into the laws themselves. The Stargate program documented precognitive remote viewing. Accurate descriptions of targets produced before those targets were randomly selected. The retrocausation framework does not require new physics to explain this. It may require only that we take seriously the physics we already have. The fourth framework is the one I think deserves more attention than it typically gets. Physicist James Spottiswoode found a statistically striking correlation between remote viewing performance and local sidereal time. Specifically, accuracy appears to peak when the galactic center is near your local meridian. The effect size was approximately 4 times the baseline rate. Think about what that would mean if it holds up. Remote viewing performance correlated with Earth's orientation relative to the galactic center. The figure is connected to the stars by threads of light. And practically speaking, this is the one framework that generates a specific, testable, actionable prediction. There are free sidereal time calculators online. You can test this yourself. Here is what I find remarkable about all 4 of these frameworks, taken together. They were developed by researchers working in different traditions, starting from different bodies of evidence, with different methods and different assumptions, and they all point in the same direction. None of them supports the picture of consciousness as a purely local phenomenon, as something sealed inside the skull, confined to the present moment, cut off from the rest of the universe. Every one of them suggests, from a different angle, that awareness is more permeable than our ordinary experience leads us to believe. That convergence is not proof of anything, but when independent lines of honest inquiry, developed by serious people following the evidence, arrive at the same general conclusion from different starting points, that is itself something worth pausing on. It is also, for those of us who have spent time with the Hermetic tradition, not a surprise. The principle of mentalism, that mind is the substance from which reality is woven, not a byproduct of it, has been articulated in one form or another for millennia. Not a byproduct of it has been articulated in one form or another for millennia. Modern physics did not discover this idea, but it is beginning, slowly, to stop being able to rule it out. When you read through the module, I want to suggest one thing. Don't try to decide which framework is right. That is not the assignment, and it is not yet possible. What I would rather you do is notice which framework feels most resonant with your own direct experience of the practice sessions you have already completed. Which description of how information arrives fits what you felt in the room with those coordinates? Not what convinced you intellectually, what felt most true to your own experience. That is the essential question the module assessment will ask you to sit with, and it is a question worth taking seriously, because your direct experience of the practice is data, not proof, but data. The essential questions at the end of each framework section are not rhetorical. They are genuine, open, unresolved puzzles. Sit with them. Let them deepen rather than resolve. That quality of attention, the willingness to hold a real question without rushing to close it, is itself part of what this practice is training. I'll see you in the module. The great work is here, the great work is now, and the great work is you.